All right, so we're sitting here with Jon. Jon, thanks for joining me.
My
Want to
pleasure.
introduce yourself?
Yeah, what's up, guys? I'm Jon Levesque. I'm a senior PM on the Microsoft Flow team, and it's my responsibility to kind of handle everything around the product. So community engagement, evangelism, and that has a whole bunch of things in it, blogs and social and content and all that goodness.
Right. So, we've had a lot of announcements these past few weeks, especially with what came out of Microsoft Ignite. I wanted to talk to you about some of the coolest stuff there. So I've heard some stuff about Flow Checker.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Man, Flow Checker is a cool thing. Actually, Sune on our team, shout out to Sune, created this idea of an AI kind of watching you build flows to make sure that your patterns and practices are in line, and to make sure that you're not putting optional values in the wrong places, and that your expressions are properly formatted. And the great thing about it is it actually will pinpoint the locations where you need to actually focus on changing, or so that your flow will work. So you don't have to be testing. It's definitely going to make it a lot easier to author flows.
Okay, so is this kind of the first step in a flow checker? Is maybe the next step looking at telling people best practices, and you should look at doing this instead of that kind of thing?
Yeah, so the flow checker is one piece. We're actually also looking to build in a lot of like inline help. So if we recognize that you're stuck, have little pop-ups with tips. Why don't you try this? Have you thought about that? Here's some resources and information. Also, when people get errors, sourcing the error information straight out of documentation into the editor, so you never have to leave the experience.
I think that'll make this so much more accessible to the average end user, bringing this from an admin experience to a power user to even more of a basic end user.
That's the goal, man. That's really the goal.
Yeah. So speaking of admin experiences, and I've heard quite a bit's happening in the Flow admin area.
Yeah. So Kent is a busy guy on our team. He runs all our admin experiences, and one of the big ones is admin analytics. So you'll be able to see how many flows are in your environment, who's running them, what connectors make them up, in what amounts. You'll be able to slice and dice based on environment, based on connector type. You get all the information to actually begin to understand what's happening in your environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's going to be awesome, and actually the coolest part about it is it's fully built on Power BI embedded. So like we're eating our own dog food here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. I heard some stuff about being able to use geotags on devices, that kind of things. That sounds interesting.
So I actually put out a video about this a couple weeks back. If you guys go to my YouTube channel and check out the Flow feature preview for geolocation, you can get a good idea of how it works. But basically what happens is you draw a map around a location, and when you enter that location with your device, that's actually the trigger. And so imagine the use cases for this, right? Like clocking in and clocking out at the most simple way, right? But what if we got even more robust and said, what if when a salesperson arrives on site, they then get a digest of that customer's information from what was said about them on social media, to their work orders and dynamics, to to latest communications. They could have that at their fingertips in an instant.
And this is my favorite thing about Flow, is that you're not just creating a siloed solution here. Like what you just said, an example of, it can pull that information from Dynamics. And it's not just an API connection. We've got native integration with all these different areas. 230
services now.
Yeah, and that's just awesome.
And it grows every week. We keep putting out 2-3 every single week.
Yeah, and get creative with your flows, people. There's a lot of cool stuff. I've built some even with Intune before. It's
Intune flows?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Intune, like grabbing information from Windows 10 devices that Intune isn't surfacing, and pushing out PowerShell scripts. Hopefully I'm going to get a blog out there pretty soon.
I hope you do. I want to promote that.
Okay, we'll get that going.
Nice.
Cool. Any parting thoughts? Any last little nuggets you want to share?
You know what? I would actually love to share one thing, if you could link it, or I will, or whoever, but I'd love to share with them a getting started guide. And it's aka.ms/flow-resources. That is a full getting started guide for anybody to jump into Flow. It has sections for beginner, intermediate, advanced, admin. If you work with SharePoint, cognitive services, if you want to connect with local experts, if you want to get help, it's got everything. And so I always say it's the first place to go to get started with Flow. aka.ms/flow-resources.
All right, well, you heard it here. Thanks for joining me, Jon.
Thanks so much for having me, man.